So what's up guys, and welcome to another video here on Optcg. It's morning for me, so good morning. So we're just gonna get right into the video. So Bandai announced that they are dropping a ban list during Worlds. I think it's the 16th of March. And I just want to give you my thoughts on it and what I think may happen during the game. And I also first have to lay out the groundwork for what I think. So with a ban list, the goal for me, if I would be designing the cards, is to hinder power creep, to free up some design space for future products, but also to push the new products, to get out the older things and make room for the new one. So I think those points goes together. So when I'm going to give my thoughts on the ban list, I'm going to take those things into account. So maybe like some of these bans and unbans will not be my opinions, but more like what I think may happen. And of course we can also wish for some things. But yeah, let's get right into it. So first, I think the big bad wolf, Doflamingo, is most talks about. It all depends what Bandai will do. I think the most likely scenario is them just putting Doffy on the ban list, because they've already pushed all the products for the warlords, and they're not probably doing any more anytime soon. So I think there's a safe spot for them to put a ban to Doffy. But optimally, I would not like to see a Doffy ban, because I think the deck is interesting, it's kind of skillful, and yeah, I'm fine with being in the format. So I think the optimal thing would maybe be to ban one of these cards. Now when playing Teach, I have not felt these cards a lot, but this is one of the reasons you have to trash in some spots that you don't want to. And also, the worst card for a Teach player are of course the opponent's Teach. Which may, even though he's under Blackbeard's leader effect, he can put out 2 bodies a turn. So I think these are the two like more broken, oppressive cards for the deck. So I think like either something of these are getting banned, but I think most likely we are getting the ban on the leader straight up, as they've done that in the past. Then we can talk a little bit about the leaders that are already banned. So I would still put red and purple law in the ban category. The reason why is because it's so hard to design cards when this is a leader, because every purple and red 4-cost or lower card can potentially slot into this deck. And also with this like element of cheating out the bodies and ramping just makes the deck so oppressive to play against, and a lot of decks can't keep up, and there's not much counterplay to it. So I think that law will still stay banned. Maybe they unban it, but that's just my opinion. And then for next card we have Sakazuki. So yeah, I'm heavily biased because I played this deck and I love this leader, and I of course wish and hope that he gets unbanned. And I think there's a case to be made that he could be unbanned. We are going to go about a little bit later, but I feel like Sakazuki obviously has some flaws. It's not super broken, it's just a generally good leader with a good effect. So you're playing more of these like blue, black, good stuff decks with the navy package and everything. So I think actually they could unban Sakazuki if they're going to ban the next card they're going to talk about, and it's the 8-cost Moria. So I think that Moria is a really good card, of course. It's probably the best card we have ever got so far, even though it does not see as much play right now in the EBO2 format. I think this card is like probably the best black card and will be for a long time. So I would actually see them banning this card just to free up design space, and just like to put that behind and to design some other things, because like every good 4-drop and lower like 2-drop will be played in those kind of decks, and a lot of these back decks are just opted to being Moria piles. So that's why I think they will ban it, just because of the design space. And if they ban Moria, I think it's more safe to give us back Sakazuki, which I really hope. Now this kills the yellow black Luffy deck, but it's been out for a long time now. So I think Bandai may like think it's time to put that deck to rest too, to push the new products. So I think that Moria will get the ban, maybe not, but at least that's what I think. If I want it, maybe I want it just because it's been good so long and we want some new toys to play with, in my opinion. Then we have Rebecca. People have talked about this card. I don't think this card will see a ban. Obviously it's really good, but it only becomes really broken together with Moria. So if you get Moria banned, I don't think there's a reason to touch Rebecca. And even if Moria stays, I don't either think there's a reason to touch Rebecca. I think it's a completely fair card. And then we have Anis Lobby. So, I mean, this card obviously is crazy valuable because you get -2/3 every turn, which essentially I would say maybe are like 1 don value or half don. So you get a lot of value, and you make it so your other smaller decrease stuff also are really good. So I'm probably going to think that they will keep this card banned, but I think it's maybe fine to unban it. The reason why is because if Moria is gone, then Lucci is not going to be that strong anymore, and it will need these tools to be able to be a leader. So I think go either here or here, but maybe they will put it in ban just to free the side space for the future. Now we're coming to Blackbeard Teach. So if they are going to touch Doflamingo and the Luffy deck that we'll go over later, I think that Teach probably needs a small hit, because it's the second best deck or third best deck now in Japan because of EB. And if they hit the other decks, then of course Teach will have a really good time because you just win against almost all of the other matchups. And the problem with Teach, like for the Banlist, is that they're going to release a start deck in June. So I don't think they want to completely kill the deck or take it off. But maybe they're going to give it like a small hit to give it with support later. And I think these are like the 3 cards that may see a hit. I think Kusan is really good, but I don't see it getting near the ban list. I like the flavor of the card. It's obviously super good, but it's not like on the power level of Moria. It's not that broken. So it's generally a good card. And the 2 cards that I may say hit is first is Burgess, because I don't think the card is that broken, and it's the main game plan for teaching to many matchups. But the problem is that this card is kinda uninteractive for a lot of decks. For example, if you're playing Shanks, Lucci, BY, and all these other decks that can touch this card, it becomes really annoying because it will just be so big, and like you can't really play around it in any good way. So I could see them actually banning this card, and then when the starter deck come out, give us another drop for the deck. But I don't think it will get banned. So if they actually want to hinder the deck but still keep it good, I think they will have to ban Stage Hachinoso. I mean, this card is just insane. Like, you get essentially to search your whole deck. You become so much more consistent, and you can like cut down on Lafitte and Age because this card just searches your whole deck to find your key pieces. So I actually think they want to balance these, especially when we are probably getting 5 new cards in the starter deck. They should probably ban Stage. So I think if they're going to ban anything, I think they are going to ban the Stage for Teach. Now, if I like it or not, I of course want the deck to be good, but I also want like a fair and balanced format. So that's why I think if they maybe ban Stage, and together with the new starter deck with some new cards, we still have 8 searches. I still think the deck will be good, but it will not be as consistent and powerful as before. So that's about Teach. And then we have the new Boogeyman, the green and purple Luffy, which is really taking over the EB format. And I think that the green and purple, green and purple of course, green and purple Luffy is a little bit similar to the red and purple Law, because you get a lot of value of your Don and you shit out a lot of bodies that are smaller and like mid-range style. But the problem with this deck, I think, is that it does everything. So it has good tempo, it has protection, it can go aggressive, it can build a board, it will always have a lot of resources. And in the end, if you take them down to like 1 life or 2 life, you are not going to kill them because they will sit with like 3 or 4 Don up and have double giant from the Bagua right now. So the deck just has everything, and I think that the only decks that can counter it is these kid decks like Smoker who won. So I think that this deck probably needs a hit on the get-go. I heard some talks about this card being broken, and it's obviously really good in the deck. Probably, yeah, the main win con together with the Sunny Pudding. But both of these cards are getting released in the EB as a like little bit higher rarity, so I don't think they want or are going to touch them. So that leaves up the Gum Giant and the Going Merry. Going Merry may see a ban if they want to put a slap on the wrist on the deck, just because it's a rare coming out in the set, so it won't really matter for the sales. And also this is like one of the cards that makes it so hard to clear your bodies, because you can put Sunny Pudding to a 7 cost, and 7 costs are really hard for a lot of decks to interact with instead of a 5 drop. So they may put this on a list, but I don't think so. I think the card that will see the ban hammer is Giant, because Giant is not only good in that Luffy deck, it's good in all other purple Straw Hat decks. And I feel like this card just is flawedly designed. Like, it's in purple, so you are going to tend on fast in most of these decks. It's not green purple, but it ramps a lot, so you don't really care about -2. So when you get to use it in the late game, it does not matter if you go -2. So that like drawback is not relevant. And you also like discarding card and drawing 2. So essentially for 1 Don for free, pump 4000, you get to cycle 1 card and draw 2. So like the card is just insane, and I think like with the blue and purple Luffy also coming out in OP11, I think this card will be so oppressive to play against, especially like it's also a 6k leader, and we see RP Luffy now taking ways, and like that deck should also have the problem with defensive, but you can't really kill them because it will be a 6k leader together with Giant. So I think that if they are going to ban anything for that deck, I think and I hope they will ban Giant, because the card is just so good. And it's also, oh, I have to charge the headset, and it's also like, how are they going to if print a better card than this? Like, they can't really print a better card, because that card will be even more broken. So I think that maybe you could argue that the Giant is the best card in the game right now, yes, because of the value it gives compared to other 1-cost events. I think it would be fair if you like maybe discard 1 card, draw 1, or maybe it gives 2k and do this thing. Like it's just so pushed right now. So I think they're maybe going to ban this card if they want to hit the green purple Luffy in any way. And then we have a little bit of a controversial take from me. I hope, I don't think, but I hope they will ban the 8-cost Kid. Now this card does not do anything against Teach, so I don't really care if it's in the format, because I will be playing Teach as long as it's playable, most likely. But the problem with this card is that since set 1, every green deck has opted to being a Kid style deck, like Kid lock deck. Like OP01 Kid, what was the next green deck that was played? Uta, Kid lock, Perona starting to play Kid right now. We have Smoker, Kid lock, we have Bonnie, Kid lock. Every green deck just like builds up and goes for Kid and blockers. So I think that they probably want to take the color to a new direction than being these Kid control decks, and give green a little bit more of an identity. At least what I hope. Now I don't think it will get banned, but I will put it here because I would like to see that, just to push green to another way of playing. And then we have Reject. I think that this card should stay banned. I don't like the design, it's super unhealthy. Just to like take a life out of your opponent, and also being a removal. I think it would be fine if it had one of those effects, because then you would not play it. But now like either way it's playable, like trigger, you can draw a card, you can KO anything, or like a 5-drop I think it is, or you can put your opponent to 0 if they have 1 life. So I think the card will stay banned. I think it's flawedly designed, and it's good that it should stay there. Then we have the boat, Moby Dick. I also think Moby Dick should stay on the ban list. I just think that this card hinders design. So if they want to print more red Newgate cards, I heard Ace and Newgate is getting like a starter deck, like this dual starter deck, and it's probably, maybe it's going to be red, blue, or red at least. And I don't think like this card is healthy at all to have in the format, because it's just so good. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I feel like. And then for the last card we have the Raging Tiger. I'm just going to put it in no ban or unbanned. I don't think this card needs to see banned. It's heavily format dependent, and it's like a 7 cost, so it's really clunky in your hand. The only reason why it has been good now in Doffy is because Doffy can play off like 3 Don. You can do Tiger and you can swing a 7 and get a body, which makes this card a lot more good than, for example, if you're playing Boa, where you're just going to bot deck 2 things and then maybe swing an 8 or play a 3 drop. So I think that Raging Tiger will probably stay in. It's a really good card, obviously, with a really good trigger, but I don't think it's close to being super good if Doflamingo is not in the format. So this is my take on the ban list and what I think may happen, and some of these cards are what I want. But this probably, like keeping this ban and unbanning these, is what I think, and for some of the things I hope. So with that said, thanks a lot for watching me yap about this ban list. TCG player affiliate link down below. Subscribe, like. 8% gang, thank you for watching this far, but this is not like a long video, so probably a lot of you are still here. Yeah, see you in the next one.